Hello, cats and kittens, felines and felidae, humans and variant humans, and every race, class, and subclass. Welcome to another episode of Brainy the RPG Cat. Um, we're going to be doing some art. I'm going to draw some still images so that I can use them as promo images for the upcoming Brainy the RPG Cat manga, which is going to be on Webtoon. But first is that I have this brand new productivity tool. This is called Spirit City Lofi Sessions, and so effectively, it just has a small mini game where you have to search around your room for little Pokemon-like animals that you can collect. But for the most part, this is actually just a lo-fi music player, and also just a mood enhancer and a productivity tool. So I'm just gonna go over the productivity tools really quick too. Here's a to-do list. So my new task. Okay, so create stock images for manga, and so that'll help me out. And then add a new task. Something I want to do in the future. Well, publish first page of manga. I definitely need to do that. Alright. Make sure I spell things right. Then we also have a timer. So, these days there's kind of a new wave concept when it comes to productivity. Is what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to create sessions and then put small breaks in between them so that you can concentrate for that amount of time and then stop, rest, and then come back and then continue to do it again. Okay, so usually I don't do well with 15-minute sessions. I would prefer to do 30-minute sessions with 5-minute breaks. Okay, so that sounds good. And then, habits. Well, habits are things that I need to post regularly. I think I may need to. I want to do that on a little bit of a more personal scale. And then, journal entries so that, you might be able to write your own personal journal. All of the things you need in order to keep you in a position where you are always working. And so, I have a tendency to talk a lot about autism on this stream. And so, it's important in order to, if you do feel as though you're a neurodivergent person, or cat for that matter, is that you have to focus upon these kinds of additional things that you need to do in order to maintain your focus and keep yourself organized. And so this seems to be like a good program in order to do that. I wish it had a mobile version, because I need these sort of things at work maybe a little bit more than I do at home. So let me see. Right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, I'm going to move it up to the corner of the screen, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to start our new drawings. So let me put that down right there. Let me start my first 30-minute timer. Okay. So now, we're going to start working, and I believe I'll keep the timer up so that you guys can see it as well. Alright, so yeah, I think that's ticking down, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Okay. So, well, here we are. Another blank canvas, another empty piece of paper. So, with ADHD, sometimes you have a tendency to look at this, and then you have absolutely no idea what you're going to be drawing next. But, I'm going to be working slightly against that right now, okay, so I have got 4 characters I want to draw to put into promotional stills. Let's see. I need... Oh. We have a follower. Jason Liza. Who says I'm not affiliated and partnered? Sheesh. Well, it was nice to dare to dream. Alright. So, at any rate. Alright, so let me go ahead and let me get started here. You're right, I think I'm probably demonstrating what I usually do when I'm up against a blank page right now. I have some still images of some characters that I need to draw for the concept. And so, okay, first thing I'm going to need to do is I am going to need to just pull up those 4 images. This is a little hard to do and then maintain the Lofi as well. Okay, so what I'll do is that I'll just go ahead and throw the Lofi window here, and then put my screen on top of that. So that's taken care of now. So then I need my drawings. They have. So you're probably not going to be able to see this. You know, it's just a matter of me having it on screen so that I can look at it for reference purposes. Alright, so... And I'm also basing this largely on some character designs that weren't created by me. They were created by Mimi Bunny, who you've seen in several of my previous streams. So, first things first, let me go ahead and let me get started. First character I'm going to be drawing, of course, is going to be Brainy. So, you know, I like to start out with a pencil tool. I think I've mentioned that, you know, several times before. So, I'm going to be drawing a picture of Brainy laying down, just with his back to a wall. So he's kind of sitting and he's laying. So yeah, here's his feet sticking out. And so I don't need a lot of reference when it comes to drawing Brainy, because I have a tendency to draw Brainy a lot. Of course, you know that. And so then we're just gonna we're gonna have his eyes down here. Alright. And nose. Alright. And then, okay, so we're looking at his head. Slightly at the top of his head, so... Okay, put the ear right here. See a little bit of the fur underneath his belly, and then I do need to make a suggestion of where his legs are. Alright. Then, yeah, toe beans. Everybody loves the toe beans. Kitty toe beans, and then this little thing around the inside, which is supposed to be a... They say you're supposed to draw something in the shape of a teddy bear's head. So round his circle right here, bring it up a little bit so that I can do the top of his hat, and also going to need to draw his hair tuft. Say draw his wizard's hat, and then start to come down this way with the with his hair tufts. All right. And so, we've already completed the rough. It's pretty much what I'm going to need to have for the final image. So in addition to that, you know, there's a couple of accoutrements that I wanted to add that were originally part of Mimi's drawing of the character. And so, seems to have, you know, pajama-like clothing. Um, and so he has a little bit of a, he has like a beaded necklace around the top of his hat, and then a medallion around it that has his wizardry symbol on it, which is supposed to be an eye, and a star on the end of his a star at the end of his hat right there. Alright, so then tufts of eyebrows. Alright, so I need to find a place for his tail as well. I think it's gonna go along this way. Alright. Okay, so that's pretty good for the rough. Okay, so then what we're gonna do, we're gonna just put on another layer and then we're gonna work on the inks. So, as I mentioned before in previous streams, I have a lot of stabilization on my ink and absolutely no stabilization on my pencil tool. That's because I always use the pencil tool for the sketches. And then I follow it up by using the pen. I also use the real G pen setting simply because I can, you know, it just looks a little bit more realistic, closer to the kind of things that I used to do when I was drawing with things like felt pens. You know, just a slightly more organic looking line. So I draw the eye here, but this time I'm going to, so is that I don't want him to look mad, is this I just want him to look sleepy. Alright. Alright. Do his nose. Then he's just kind of got a little bit of a smirk right here. Just draw the bottom half of his mouth. Maybe I can do it a little bit wider than that. Alright. Alright, so both of the sides of his head, followed by the beginning of his hair tufts. Alright. And so, just to make things a little bit more symmetrical, I'm going to begin the hair tufts on this side here. Alright. Actually, I think I might want to add the spots during the color flame, during the color process. Okay, now let's draw this ear. And I'm going to make this a little, the inner ear a little bit smaller this time. Both sides of his shirt collar, and I'm going to move this a little bit to the side and then add one button. Alright, so now we're going to do the corners of the hat. Alright, so put this down and then over the corner. Alright. Oh, you know what? I think I was still in the Zelda category. Let me go ahead and fix that. Art. Art. Currently streaming art. Alright. So anyways. Say this has to be more of a circle than a bead. Alright. Okay, and so that's the top of the necklace. And then I have to draw the medallion. I'm going to do it at a slightly different perspective than I did it in the rough. Alright. So, zoom in really here so that I can add the eye symbol to his medallion. Alright. Alright, a little bit more in this direction. Okay, and that's the remainder of the hat. So, when Mimi drew this, she composed a hat entirely out of stars, but I want to go slightly back on that, and I just want to put everything else in there. The star, the moon, the half diamond symbols, everything that I usually put on the hat. So, a couple of unspoken details here is that I should put his spots, and I should also put his whiskers. It's almost touching the face there, but he's being lazy, so then that's perfectly fine. All right. Let me see if I can position the arm a little bit lower. Usually, you know, Brainy is never like a broad-shouldered character. It's really just that as though his arms go straight down from his shoulder. All right. Put the inside of his shirt. Nope. Oh, let me erase this out. You might notice that I'm drawing the size of the shirt first. There's a reason for that, because I still want to work a little bit around the position of the legs right here. All right. So there is his leg tuft, and then I want to, well, inevitably I want this to be more cat-like, so I don't want to draw the broad toes. I just want to go. I don't think that looks as good in this term, so I'm going to need to draw toes, but I'm going to need to make them a little bit closer together. Just like that. All right. Okay, so So make the front of his stomach look a little bit lumpy. Because, you know, he's laying down. And then actually what I should be doing with this one is that I should be making it face the opposite direction. So that you can tell clearly that it's the left foot and the right foot. Alright. And draw the underside of his belly again. There's actually a little bit more here now because of how I drew the feet. Oh, you know what? And I forgot to give him a second leg. So then let me just erase this. Then I'll put on the second leg. Something I also always say in every single art stream is that one thing I like about art more than other disciplines is that you don't get fallen on very hard for making mistakes. As soon as you make a mistake, then you just erase it and then you keep going. Alright. So yeah, you're not going to see that section of the tuft anymore. And then I've got to draw his underbelly. Alright. And draw the rest of his tail. And so let me take away the pencil lines. Take a look at what the final version of this art looks like. And that's pretty good. You know, there's still lots of room for lots of potential detail. A few more eraser marks to get rid of right here. So I usually set my eraser to partial erasing because, you know, if there's ever a guideline that I want to keep, well then I'm going to need to look at the, and then I can just look at the faded eraser mark and then I can determine that that I get to erase that. And then put new lines in the place where the faded eraser is. It's a lot more efficient. I know a lot of people just like to use the whole eraser, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, so I see a little room right here. I can make a suggestion of his other arm. But once again, still just mostly keeping it low and close to his torso. Alright. So yeah, there's the first drawing right there. So, you know, I've been working on a lot of things, you know, in terms of, you know, doing the manga, is that there's a necessity in order to draw characters in all sorts of different poses. This one is that, you know, he's in 3/4 and then he's looking slightly down. So that's basically, yeah, how I'm making a difference in this image. Alright, so that's the first one down. And now we're, oh, I accidentally drew that on the second frame. That's perfectly alright, because I have more frames to work with. Alright, so then I am going to go ahead, I'm going to do, I'm going to create the image for QB. X out of this, and also let me see, where are they? Okay, there they are. So I pull up another reference image. Alright, so I'm not on the pencil again, so... Okay, doing what I can in order to keep the flow going. You know. Take a quick glance at the timer. I think I still have a good 10 minutes left on it. Alright, so... So I'm going to draw QB running, but I'm also going to do it in a way where I'm also throwing myself off because I'm doing this in black instead of red. Alright. So, head, torso, they're going to be running, but it's going to be their legs are going to be going ahead of the torso, so... A little bit like that. Alright. You know, make a suggestion of where his pants are gonna be. Then... say draw his feet, which end in rabbit toes, and rabbit toes that have claws on them to boot. Toes to boot. I made a little pun. All right. So QB is Mimi's character, and so, you know, I always let them have, you know, creative control over how they want that character to be depicted. Of course, in situations like this, you know, it's really just I'm creating a new pose but maintaining the same imagery of the character, so no harm in that situation. So, you know, put both arms flailing wildly as they're running. All right. Okay, needs a slightly bigger head. And now ears. This version of QE has pretty realistic rabbit ears. Alright. A hat with a little bow on the end of the hat. Alright. So I just got an achievement. It's really just that I had a spirit leveling up as a result of my resting ear. Alright. So I think that ear needs to be backwards facing. And then this one needs to be moving in this direction. Okay, so I think we can start working on the finer details now. So, up still in red. Go back to black. Back to black. Now back to black. Excuse me. Lo-fi sessions, you know. Still not quite there yet. draw this. So make sure that I'm still respecting the direction that the head is facing. I mean, you know, one of the things that you really learn to do when you're a cartoonist or a sequential artist is that just how to draw like very nondescript characters very quickly. And so by a nondescript character, I mean like a character that is unrealistic, that you don't have to pay too much attention to how potentially human it might look. And Brainy is one of those, and QB is one of those too. As that I can take details of their body, I can put them in different places, and it still looks like the same character. Alright. Okay, we're gonna draw one half of his tattered cloak right here. And the other one over here. So then I need a bow tie. Draw another stitch, goes up in this direction. Alright. Yeah, there I have the bow tie right there. And so I'm gonna need to make more of a suggestion of the torso here. So I'd go down over the side. Make sure that these areas right here they kind of stick out and around a bit. So, you know, going with what I was saying about non-specific characters, his torso usually isn't this short. But you can still make it, and then you can write it off as saying, well, okay, it's because he's running. It just looks compressed because he's in motion right now. Alright. Okay, well, I'm almost done with my first minute. So I will work until I hear the alarm bell sound, and I'll take a 5-minute break. All right. All right. There goes my first focus timer. So they just let me see, I don't know if I need to. So that started the 30-minute timer again. Okay, well, I'm not taking much of a break for the first time, but that's okay. I'm still basically learning how to use the software. So they made mention of what this method is called. I usually, I have a tendency to forget what this is called, but it's called the Pomodoro timer. For some reason, whoever invented it uses a lot of tomato imagery. Um, and that is because I think it's the person who invented it was using an egg timer shaped like a shaped like a tomato in order to conduct the first test when it comes to using the timer. So, for is that tomato-shaped egg timer is just really a big is a part of the process. You know, just a way to add branding and iconography to this concept. Let me see here. All right. Say other foot is in the curve because he is planted on that foot at the moment, so he's pressing it against the ground. All right. Okay. And the foot claws on that one. All right. Now you got to do the waving sleeves. We're probably going to be doing a little bit more waving on the sleeves. Um, Probably going to end up looking like Pendleton Ward Adventure Time drawing. All right. Hang on. I'm stuck in a loading loop at the moment. While I'm in the middle of doing this drawing, my Clip Studio might have crashed. I've been having some problems with that lately, as I'm probably going to need to completely delete and then defrag my Oh, I don't want to end. Let me click to say I don't want to end. I know it's just backloading. Well, you guys were here to see my software crash. Congratulations. Just wait a second in order for that to come back together. And I haven't saved up until this point, so yeah, I'm really hoping that it pulls itself back. Come back from the abyss, software. Clip Studio Paint, you're such a hazard. Go back and I can't pull up Lofi right now because he is actually behind my art window. Okay, well, unfortunately, I think I am going to just need to end the process right now. Even clicking end process isn't going to working. I'm going to have to use the jaws of life here. Okay, there's Task Manager. Let me close that up around and see if I can... No, well, okay. Everything is working except Clip Studio Paint closed. Let's try to bring it back up. Okay, so I was able to keep my Brainy sketch, but probably none of my QB sketch, so let's just go ahead and give this a save. Yeah, overwrite the previous one. Open recent. Go back to the full file. So probably the reason that you know, this is taking so long to load and taking so long to process is because I set up Clip Studio Paint in order to put this as part of a 100-page document. So it's probably just struggling in order to keep the entirety of the document array open. So after it opens this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the 4 images that I need, and then I'm just going to close the rest of the document. Well, there goes valuable productivity time. Okay, so page 3 and page 4. Okay, then close this actual section. All right. Yeah, I have absolutely nothing of my previous sketch. You guys all know what it previously looked like. Now it's going to look different. I can't help that. Simply because, you know, I just had to start over. All right. See if I can even approximate what I was doing with this image before. Alright. And the head was a little bit larger like that afterwards. Alright. Alright. Okay. Ear here. Ear here. So I think, yeah, the way that the ears bend is going to be reversed now. Say, put a little bit more of a motion into the top hat. Then bow tie here. Okay. And just have the arms sailing away. Putting the wavies into the sketch this time because it was only just merely occurring to me the last time I was doing it. Alright. And I can make this one a little bit more dynamic. So follow that flow a little bit better. Alright. Maybe I can actually get away with giving him a slightly longer torso this time. And then this leg up in this direction. Other leg up in that direction. Well, that's a little too bent. Needs to be going down slightly. Okay, this foot. This foot. And so I've drawn all this slightly off panel, so I'm going to just need to take the move tool, move the sketch a little bit more to the center, and keep going. Alright, so maybe a bit more like that. It can overlap. You know, I can even foreshorten it a little bit. Alright. And then I need his collar. And then let me see, that's the suspenders. Alright. So yeah, that's the basic sketch down again. Okay, so I don't want to run into trouble a second time. I'm gonna start saving periodically. Alright. Autosave can only do so much. Alright. Okay, so pick out my pen. I believe I was using size 8 lines in the last one. No, that looks too big. Maybe just size 7 ones. Okay, this time when I do my hat, you'll be able to see the underside slightly on it. Alright. Okay, that's a little too sock-like. We do want it to eventually resemble a rabbit ear. Too thick on the bottom. Maybe I can get away with making, you know, just making it partially forward-facing. Okay, that's a good idea, but I thrashed the line a little bit too much. It doesn't look like what it's supposed to look like. It looks like there's just a little bend in the air right there. Alright. Okay, this one's going to be hard to do. I have to draw that exaggerated bent line in exactly this same direction as the other one. Alright. Alright. Okay, put those details in again. Alright, so start to put the sleeve in this direction. Alright, put the stitch work in again. Alright, a little bit more on this side. I'm gonna make his mouth shorter so that, you know, you can see that he's at a certain angle. Alright. So I'm pausing and so that I can roll around my mouse between my fingers. Well, roll around my stylus pen between my fingers because I have a tendency to grip things really hard, and because of that is that I have a tendency to grip the pen too hard when I'm drawing. It's a problem in a lot of departments. Well, at a job that I eventually lost, I was working on the keyboard, and then I just kept holding my hands in a position. That eventually ended up giving me the repetitive stress injury that I have to this day. So it's not really carpal tunnel; it's a radial tunnel. It's my pinky and my pinky finger and the finger next to it. I don't know what that's called. What's the finger next to the pinky finger called? But anyways, it's those two fingers instead of the thumb and the index finger where I have a repetitive stress injury. Alright. Okay, this looks a little bit too short, so I'm going to try to lengthen it out a bit as I'm drawing the ink. This is going to turn out way more foreshortened than the other one. Alright. Alright. Okay, that's not right at all. I'm messing out. The boot should start roughly around here. Oh goody, I didn't make a second layer when I started drawing this. Well, I'm going to be doing a significant amount of erasing later. Alright. So I'll probably find an option in Clip Studio that'll just delete all of the red from this image, and that will do the exact same thing. See, this is what happens when your software crashes and you have to start over, is that little boo-boos like that. Alright. So, well, anyways, at the end of it all, this is really what the sketch is going to look like. So actually, you know, he does have another ribbon, and it's just directly on the back of his head. It's supposed to be butterfly shaped because is that just there's a certain relationship that QB has with butterflies. Alright. So yeah, so barring the ability in order to erase the red pencil, then that's effectively what the sketch is going to look like. Really good, strong sketch, and you know, he's definitely in motion within it. Alright, so let's give that image a save. Usually when you have a multi-page document, you can click on the tab that where the multi-page document is open, and then you can save everything that you've done. But since I'm trying to save bandwidth here, I'm just going to have to save them individually. Alright, so change 3. Okay, so we have 2 more characters to draw. One of them is Otto, one of them is Marin. Well, you know, I have a tendency to do these things in order of, you know, how specific the drawing needs to be. So my ranking for that is usually Brainy, QB, Otto, and then Marin. So we're drawing Otto next. So Otto is a character played by my very close friend Joe Kazuski. And so a character of a lot of you know, a character that is effectively a robotic automaton. And so he has some very strong broad shoulder concepts behind him. So, and unfortunately that means that I'm also going to have to draw his overall image a lot smaller. Alright. Alright, so and so you have to come up with, you know, a way to pose this character, even though, you know, he's a robot, he's stiffer. Alright, so this looks pretty good. Once again, I'm going to need to center this a bit more. Alright. Okay, now we're going to zoom way in, and we're going to go with the broader details now that we're going to do the inks. So, probably some details I'm going to need to put here in pencil. You know, jam right up here. Oops. I've already moved on to the ink pen. Okay, jam right up here. Okay, top half of a visor, this visor that he has. Then 2 eyes. And 2 eyes, 2 joints that are lead to the side of his mouth. All right. And he has like this mohawk that's just composed of really 2 large spines. And then you know, just go into some slightly bigger details here. He has a collar here. Okay. Ends in an armor pad that goes in this direction. Okay, shoulder pads. So clearly I'm doing this sketch a lot more looser than the other two. But there'll be plenty of time in order to put in the details as I'm going. I think, yeah, this gives me the basic concept. So let's go ahead and let's move on to the other one. Say, make sure that I am drawing the inks on another layer this time. I mean, digital art has been really good to me. You know, even though I'm not taking full advantage of the unlimited skills that this imaging software affords to me, it's still really great to use because, you know, I can do things like I'm capable of just using the parameters of anything that I'm drawing, and then I can make corrections as necessary. I never have to lose or throw away a drawing because there's always a way in order to use some form of digital technique in order to fix what I did not do correctly. Okay. Alright, how are we doing on the timer? Okay, well, we're verging on the end of another 30 minutes, so... There was a visor I had to draw here. All right. Do the inside of that collar. Also the grid on the center of his neck. Actually, the collar should come all the way down here. And then we can make a suggestion of his neck. Like so. So he has these spiky shoulder pads, you know. I've always had a pretty simple method when it comes to drawing spiky shoulder pads, is that, I mean, you have to draw, on top is a spike, on the second one is a Tootsie Dot, in the center, the middle one is a circle, the other one is an inverted Tootsie Dot, and then you draw the longer spike on the end. Yeah, that's just basically how it's done. And so I just gave a lesson in art with the aid of a specific brand of gumdrop. Alright. Do the other side. Oopsie dozy. Down. Okay, give a little bit more of a definition to this arm. Round off this section. Then I'm just gonna have to improvise the hands. I probably drew the hands way too big in my sketch. Alright. I put in the breastplate here. Alright, there goes timer number 2. So time for me to take 5 minutes. Regrettably, this device doesn't seem to it doesn't seem to monitor the amount of time I should be taking my break, only the amount of time that I should start going again. So I'm just gonna watch for 5 minutes right now. And so the most important thing for me to do while I'm resting is hand flexes, because as I said, is that I have a tendency to grip things too hard, and I also have a repetitive stress disorder, so... Just take a moment to, feel my hands out so that, I got the blood flowing again. And then we'll go back up here and then we'll start the next timer. Alright. So. Okay, so I just realized I drew this like a way too short. Go slightly up like this, and then there's a hose connecting his arm to his back that comes around like this. All right. Let's be eliminated here. Alright. So he has 2 sets of armored ribs that kind of travel in these 2 directions right here. Then you have the center of his breastplate, and then the underside of it, which goes like this. Robotic characters, they're stiff, they're angular. I still have a tendency to draw them a little bit more doughy than they should probably look like. There's his waist. Add 2 lines like that. So I think, yeah, he has 2 smaller joints in the legs, and then the legs go up. So when Mimi did this design, she says that she had done it based on an actual suit of armor, so. Alright. So, it occurs to me now that I've probably drawn the legs a bit too short, so we're going entirely off the sketch at this point. I'm going to need to edit scale and give myself enough room to draw the legs. Alright. Move slightly in right here. That's supposed to be like a kneecap. Alright. So I'm mostly ignoring this arm because clearly I drew the arm too big. Alright. Alright. Another foot. Alright, so alright. So yeah, generally this is the way that the sketch is going to end up looking like. I'm almost immediately, I want to do, you know, I want to make a change to the feet because the feet don't look like they have any kind of grounding to them. So, at least one foot needs to look as though it's pretty firmly planted on the ground. Okay, so draw a wider normal foot shape. Then make sure that the design for his shoe indicates that that is facing in the direction that it is. Brought this section down. And so I'm probably going to need to bend the other foot just as the same way I did with QB. bit of races right here. And make sure that that maintains the length it does on the other side. Okay. So yeah, the feet look better now. And so yeah, but this is basically going to be the stock image for Otto. Oh, you know what? He actually has one of these hoses on the other side as well, so. Alright. So that looks good. Let me give that a save. Okay. Finally, we're going to do Marin. So, Marin is her own designer, is that she also created this character to be her VTuber on twitch.tv/Marin Mermaid. QB did do a redesign with her, and it looks, yeah, pretty much the same with the exception that the hair is vastly different, and so I've been spending a lot of time just kind of practicing how to draw the hair. Alright. So, you know, just round this out, you know, get a basic idea of what how I'm going to use the shapes. Alright. With the face shape. Then a neck, her shoulders. I'm gonna draw her clutching her hands together. Probably should start somewhere around here, actually. All right. So something like that is really what the general pose is going to be. All right. Okay. There's a little triangle here. And so her blouse looks a little bit like a sailor fuku, but not quite. All right. I already know we've done this way too big, so I just put in the waist loop and then let's start going back to scaling. All right. So something like that. That should be good for the whole image. All right. All right. So we're drawing a skirt, and then we're kind of drawing our legs, and just, you know, take a particular care to make sure that her legs are in the same position as they would be if she wasn't wearing a skirt. Okay, no. This leg is gonna have to come way forward. Okay, I could have stood to position this a little bit closer. Oops, I accidentally went to pen for that one. Perfectly fine, still just a sketch. Okay, the feet look a little stumpy, but I think I can fix that in final. Alright. Okay. So some significant things I'm going to have to add to this. Okay, some eyebrows. Both sides of her eyes. And then she's going to have particularly large glossy anime eyes because, you know, this is a stock picture. Okay. Let's see that. Just work a little around this to get the shape of her head. This is basically what the shape of the head would be. And so, I had to curve these around a lot more than I did. Okay, so that looks okay. So that looks pretty like a pretty good approximation. She has these two seashells in her hair, and then they follow that up by drawing her a ponytail that she has her hair in. All right. But first, yeah, this is her mermaid ear right here. Alright. So then we have a section of the back of her hair. It's a little bit funny looking, but I say that that's the manga-esque perspective of it all. Draw our second fin. Okay. So draw her arms, draw her collar. Okay, that line actually needs to be closer to the center right there. All right. All right. Okay, that's basically where her collar is going to be. Not quite the right shape. Well, not either. Okay, so that section should not end in a point. That's the problem I'm having. Should look a lot more like that. All right. Okay, then, yeah, I'm going to have to work on the arms, but I'm also going to have to draw the underside of the torso because this dress closes up over here, which is just under her bust line. All right. Okay, the thumb's on the wrong side. I do that sometimes. All right. Okay, position the collar or the end of her sleeve right here. And then the rest of her arm. Get this a little closer. All right. Doesn't really look like she has knuckles. It looks like she has very short, stubby hands. Let me draw the rest of the arm, see if there's something I can do about that. All right. So, these definitely need to be more detailed. All right. So I'll put a ridge right there. Ball it up a little bit more. Okay, and so, well, you know, it's a better defined closed hand than what I was doing over here. All right. All right, so that looks good. Okay, so gonna work this out so this has a bit more of a torso shape to it. Okay. So yeah, that looks pretty good for the upper torso. Something I should do with the hair is I should erase this line and then I should bring the top half of her hair over the front of her face. So let me do that. Okay, that looks good. Though now that I've closed off that section, that hardly looks like an eyebrow anymore, so I think I need to redo her eyebrows. So, just put one here and then up. Not quite the right angle. Still not quite the right angle. It's hardly noticeable, but it's noticeable. Maybe not quite. This is the part of everyone's art stream where where the artist obsess over a relatively minor detail. to get that at the exact same angle as the other one. Okay, there we are. Okay, so now let's get to working on our lower body. Let's see, this is a large belt that she wears around her waist. All right. Okay, and then her belt buckle is just two vertical lines, rounded, kind of look like biscotti. Okay, so this is very likely we're going to have to do something about the legs, and we're also just going to need to improvise. So first thing to do, transform, scale, give me a bit more room. All right. Something a bit like that. You see, there is a lot of eraser marks I'm going to have to go back and I'm going to have to make sure that they're clear. So, now we move this, let's put the guideline back in. Gonna make the skirt area a little bit more abridged. And so the way that this looks is it's kind of like a pleat, but it really only has 3 visible corners to it. And then there's a line that goes across. Which means that some of this is going to have to vanish. All right. Alright. Okay, we're approaching our third break. We're probably gonna use like a third break and then, you know, just a little bit after that. Then we can, I like the way that this pleat looks. Actually, you know, I actually think I would like to widen all of this a bit more. Doesn't quite look like a skirt after a while. I don't know what it looks like. Okay, I think I'm going to need to redo this whole shape right here. Alright. And yeah, I think this is gonna have to go too. So the angles right here should not be as deep as I originally drew them. Okay, these two sections have to match. We'll bring it around here. I'm losing the shape of it again. Alright, so... So, yeah, that's basically it, except, you know, it's also the bottom halves of these pleats needs to be aligned there. Alright, well, not that steep. And so, yeah, instead of having open legs like in the crooked legs in the sketch, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to just try to overlap one leg with the other. And once again, I have to shorten this because then I'm not going to have enough room for the feet. Okay, well, actually that looks a bit too long now. Okay, so... And so I need to make sure that this ends in a pair of boots. And boots can at times be really hard to draw. Alright. So. Okay, this is going to be a little tough to do. So I need to shorten her legs, and then I need to make the boots underneath them look a little bit bigger around. All right. Okay, there's a third bell. Okay, well, that's the thing. I was going to go right back to drawing the boots, but I can't because I do need to take the break. It's imperative. I don't end up giving myself full-blown tendonitis while drawing. Alright. Let's go ahead and hit that clock one more time. So since I think I set it for 4 sessions, that I have one more session to go. So even after I'm going to finish this, I'm still going to run out the clock. I'll find something else to draw. I've got plenty of things that I need to draw. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, back here. Okay, well, the boots look good, but I think the legs can still be positioned slightly better. Yeah, this is interesting. They're just free-floating boots like Rayman. Alright. Okay, that's a little better. just not trying not to make her thighs look too big. You know, this isn't fan art. Okay, so yeah, I think I got the idea. I've got the basic shape around it. So yeah, so these next 3 images are going to be put onto, oh, you know, I forgot. Yeah, wisps of hair inside of her ponytail. Alright. Okay, and then there's quite a bit of detail right here in the legs. I accidentally angled. You know. I know that there's a lot of artists that, you know, tend to use angling in their work. I tend not to. Simply because, you know, I when I first started training myself how to draw, I always drew on an upright sheet of paper. And also, there's supposed to be a boot heel here. Alright. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I mean, we've taken it way back, but then the drawing is at least what it's supposed to be. Okay, so give all of these a save right now. Okay, so yeah, just to show you all what I worked on today. Okay, image of Brainy, image of QB, image of Otto, and image of Baron. Okay, so yeah, that all worked out pretty well. So go ahead and close these out. Okay, now like I said, is that I'll probably spend the next 25 minutes working on something completely different. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna open up my comic let me see. Yeah, Brainy Manga comic. This is another 100-page image. I said I'll play with this a little bit. Can't really do much other than, you know. And so, you know, given the amount of time that I spent in the program doing tasks, that means that, you know, I've earned 1,000 coupons, which I can use to spend on more in-game items. You know, I'm looking to get the wizard hat. The wizard hat is probably the only thing I need in order to complete my avatar. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's open up over here. Okay, so the main thing that I wanted to cover right here is that here in this first panel, you know, I was trying to make an approximation of what a specific city looked like. But the mistake I made is that, you know, I attempted to draw it freehand. So this time, I'm not going to draw it freehand. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work 100% in line work, and I'm going to use one-point perspective the way that it's supposed to be done. Okay, so first thing I want to do is just severely Oh, actually, you know what? It's actually down here, isn't it? Yeah, I believe it is. Okay, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to reduce the transparency on it, and then I'm just going to effectively use my previous work as a rough draft. So the unfortunate thing is that, you know, since I think so this is a program that's a little bit foreign to me compared to um, Photoshop. Ordinarily, I would just have what is called a quote-unquote pen tool, but it is a tool that effectively um, only draws straight lines that you close into make polygons. But I don't believe that I actually have that in this software. So I may just have to use the ordinary line tool. Um, so one thing that would help me is that if I put a arrow in the midst of all of this, if I put a ruler in the midst of all of this, then what I can do is I can create a situation where everything is going to be drawn symmetrically. Okay, so let's get our shape tools. Well, you know what, on second thought, let me see if I can do this. Okay. Let me do a web search. Like Photoshop pen tool in Clip Studio Paint. Yeah. Figure tool. Okay, well. So what does the figure tool look like? Line tool, sub tool, figure. That's what they're telling me. So I still need to pull up the line tool. I pull this down slightly so I can see it. Okay, control point line. Alright. I don't think I'm in the right category. That's a ruler. Okay, this is the figure line. Or am I just looking at the shape tool? Let me see. So underneath here, I've also got, you know, streamlines, saturated lines that also kind of follow angles. Yeah, so unfortunately, I don't think I can find anything similar to that, but so I'm just going to have to use the shape tool in order to basically make this. Okay, so first things first, let's get a rectangle in here. That's going to be this area where the gateway is. All right, so oh, I need a new layer too. All right. I have to take very careful, you know, to draw a line when there's a ruler, so that, you know, it appears in generally the correct place. Well, let's not make it that wide. Then I'll just go ahead and take an eraser and erase the middle line. Well, Maybe I won't do that yet. Maybe I may need to use it as a guideline. Okay, so one building here. Make sure that those lines end straight. And then second building, larger than this one. Oh, well, that's not quite the way to do it. But first bring it upwards, and then bring it off to the side. On both sides. Alright. So here our center point is basically represented by the ruler. Alright. So know that for certain. Oops. Yeah, that's probably not where those lines should go. They should go at the bottom of the gateway. So right about here. And so that's what's going to make up what the street is. Alright. And so these lines right here, they're a little crooked. Unfortunately, you can't go directly from the shape tool to the eraser the same way that you can with a pen. Alright, so... And even though I have a ruler, the eraser tool never adheres to the ruler. So yeah, I have to erase it on, make sure I erase it on the other side too. Alright. So then grab that line tool again, make sure that this line is parallel to the other one. Alright. Okay, that's better. And then bring the top half of a little bit more. Fortunately, this corner wasn't as long as it was on the other side. There we are. So yeah, this is just the basic line work that we're going to need to lay for this. So, a couple of things we're going to need to add here. We're going to need to add the street corners. And in the original drawing, I did have like a single line running parallel through all four of the buildings. Like so. So, it's one line from here to here. And then slightly narrower line on the other side. Yeah, I know it's not neat, but you know, I'm going to have to take a really close look at my CSP instruction manual and figure out which line is similar, how to, which tool truly is similar to the Photoshop pen tool. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna get rid of these sections in the corner here. How are we doing time-wise? Okay, we've got 15 minutes. Alright. Just having a little bit of trouble with that one angle right there. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're going to draw that little keyhole-sized gateway again. And so we're gonna do that by taking the I gotta watch how I'm angling this thing. Okay. Just, find that rectangle in the center once again. And then I'm gonna create a perfectly symmetrical approximation of what that keyhole looked like. That isn't quite it, unfortunately. It needs to come down in a point. Alright. And then what I can do is that, bring the top half over it. And I can even draw a design across it. And then it'll just symmetrically appear on the other side. Alright. Okay, that's a yard too far. What I need to do here is I need to make sure that this is only facing one angle. Oh gee whiz, did I put this ruler? Yeah, I put this ruler. I didn't put this ruler on the layer, I just put this ruler on the frame, so what I'm gonna need to do is delete the ruler here and then just put it in the other one. Alright. Take out the ruler tool again. Try to do that exact center point once again. Alright, there we go. So, eventually I'm going to have to remove the ruler and then I'm going to have to draw details within that gate of the opposite side of the street. But since I want to be efficient, I'm just going to continue to work on the symmetrical things. So, yeah, that's generally the way that it works. Okay, so this is, in canon, this is considered to be a cobblestone path, so I'll draw the cobblestones. You just come up with a strategy for drawing the cobblestones. Alright. Alright. Doesn't look half bad, doesn't look half good neither. In order for this to be successful, I think I need to use the bottom line instead of the top one. Alright. That's going to be hard to do because this panel is tilted. So I still need to draw layers underneath these layers. Right. Well, as I said, that wasn't any good. So I'm going to draw it outwardly because then that makes certain that, the Yeah, I don't think my line stayed straight the whole time. You know, maybe I'm just gonna wait to see if I can get a pattern brush for that. Okay, well... You know, there's still a lot of things I can draw line-wise. But first I do have to eliminate the ruler. Okay, so... I start drawing facades on all the buildings, like window right here. Still has to be relatively within where the center point should be. Otherwise, it doesn't look realistic. I mean, I guess none of this looks realistic, but... Alright. Eraser again. Alright. So then let that be... So, drawing a door at the same angle. Same thing on the other side. Door up. Sharper angle. And maybe a pair of windows on this building. Yeah, that's not quite right. Should be even narrower because it's further away. All right. So, we're going to start drawing some of the awnings on this. And so, oh, I don't need the pen, I need the line tool again. Okay, so, just this roof, I assume, has a slightly angled roof on the top, like so. And then, you know, a very thin line for the top that serves as a trim. Another one underneath it. Ish. Yeah. All right. do some triangles. You know, just to make it look that like that has a design on it. By the time I'm done with this design, the clock is gonna run out. So, you know, in order to add to the one point perspective, I'm going to make the suggestion of a building behind this one. Just draw that all the way to the top. And then find a different angle for that building to be on. And then erase this. So you get the feeling that there is another area of a certain angle directly behind this image. And you know, I can take something else and I can like draw a window on that. And so, yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of detail work on this page, you know, inevitably. But, yeah, we're getting a little bit close to our time remaining. So, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to watch out just the last few seconds of the clock. Figure out what rewards I'm going to get after I've done all of this quote-unquote Lofi Spirit City work. You know, nothing wrong with gamifying your life, kids. In fact, it can actually be quite fun. Well, you know, this has been really interesting, is that, you know, I do honestly believe that having Spirit City open during all of this was, I think it was a good help to me, because, you know, just having things like my journal, my timer, having my journal, my timer, and my to-do list all in one place is very useful. And just also the fact that, you know, you'll inevitably get rewarded for doing XYZ in this. It's a superlative concept, but unfortunately is not a it's not a foolproof one. Alright, so yeah, everything looks good right here. One thing I want to do, okay, I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna see if I can buy that wizard's hat. Alright. This is my avatar. My avatar needs a wizard's hat. There you are. Alright. Maybe something better in the shirt department. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to receive a robe, but yeah, just contemporary clothes in here. I don't know what design that is. It looks like little clouds. I would get one with stars. Stars would look pretty nice. That's skulls. You know, the hoods look a little bit like robes, but then they're so patterned afterwards. Well, anyways, yeah, I think that will end up looking better. Bottoms, socks, no cat paw socks, unfortunately. That would have been perfect. Something tells me I might want some of the stripy stockings. Oh, they have them in non-binary colors. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Not non-binary colors, asexual colors. That's what it is. Alright. Could use some better pants. Oh, if they only had tiger stripe leggings. But they don't. Well, maybe they did in socks. I don't know. Nope, doesn't look like it. Nothing, nothing with cat lines on it. That's too bright. I'll get some nice comfy sweatpants. Glasses... I don't know if there's... I wish they had black frames. They have everything but, like, black frames, you know. Okay, well, that one's free. Say, my spirit companion, still this kitty cat. Alright. So eventually I'm going to get to catch other monsters, but I don't know specifically when and how I'm going to do that. Okay, that's a change of skin color. Alright. Let's go with that. Okay, now we've returned to bed with significantly better duds. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sign off for today. This has been a truly productive day. And I absolutely do have to thank the creators of Spirit City Lofi for keeping me company as I actually do my drawing. Is that you have a terrific program. If you're interested in it, download it in Steam. I'm not getting paid for this. I recently heard that, you know, the influencer concept is going to start going the way of the dinosaur because of some recent new laws. Yada yada yada. I'll get to that more when I'm doing a commentary stream. But in the meantime, this has been Brainy the RPG Cat. I'd like to take a moment. I would like to see who I can raid. Who is on right now? I would like to pay a visit to Biddles is on, so is Mimi Noblin. Okay, well, I think I would like to pay a visit to you know what? I'm actually just gonna go over to Alara, the goth elf. Right now, you know, they're probably more than likely in the middle of a news and VTuber centric story just chatting stream. So let's go ahead and let's visit them. Okay. Okay, so actually, you know what? Her settings are off, unfortunately. So let's pick out somebody else. Let's go over to Kaine. Kaine is the Goth Spider VTuber. Right now they're in the middle of playing Space Engineer. So let's go ahead and let's pay a visit to them. Alright. Oh, her raid settings are turned off too. Shucks, you know, how many people have their raid settings turned on? Okay. Well, okay, so let's go over to Bjorn. Bjorn is the Scandinavian fighter VTuber. Well, what do you call that? The Viking VTuber. He's in the middle of playing MechWarrior 5. Okay, so okay, we finally got a raid going. Okay, so thank you everybody once again for tuning in. I am more than likely going to be back tomorrow, and I'm probably going to need to end up doing... Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm going to be on later tonight. I'm going to be on later tonight, and then we are actually going to be doing a TTRPG and sometimes Y stream discussing character backstory with my good friend Mimi. In the meantime, though, thank you everybody for watching. Remember, BRNY means smart. Nothing's too hard if you use your head. Always be the change you want to see in the world. Have a good night, everybody. Well, have a good rest of your day, everybody, and I will hopefully see you tonight. Thank you, everybody, for watching.